Hey loves, it's LaDawn Black, and I am back getting social with you again. You know, Mother's Day is coming up, right? And everybody doesn't have, that strong, warm, connected relationship with their mothers. And so I was thinking before we celebrate Mother's Day, let's address those folks who have difficult relationships with their mothers. And how does that roll into the other relationships in your life? Maybe even how you mother your own children. And how do you move away from a mother that you feel in your heart and that you've been trained to love regardless when that person is hard to love? Can you simply cut them off? And if you cut them off, is there life after that? I have a really good friend, Jennifer Arnise, who is an author and healing coach, and this is one of the areas that she focuses in on, the Black mother wound. So this particular episode of Getting Social is for women who are finding it challenging to sort of navigate the relationship with their mother and what that means for them as adults, as mothers, and how they operate in the world. So I'm excited for you guys to hear this piece. A lot of jewels will be dropped. She's going to talk to us about healing our Black mother wounds. How did you get to this point where this was something that you wanted to talk about and help people heal?
Well, I always knew I had a very challenging relationship with my mother. Always knew that. I always felt like there was an emotional disconnect between us, but I thought it was just something about us. I didn't think that other people went through that. And so as I got older and I was just involved in my own personal growth and development, my own healing, that's when I wrote my first book, when I really realized this relationship I have with my mother is affecting every area of my life. And so I'm always on Instagram. And so I started talking about it. And then this community kind of grew organically out of that because other women were having the same situation. And because I'm already working as a personal growth and development coach and as a healing facilitator, I'm doing this work on myself. And then I'm, getting breakthroughs and I'm sharing the breakthroughs. And they're like, oh my God, I've never heard anybody talk about this before, because talking negatively about the Black mother and the Black community is like, it's a no. Because we look at Black men as almost like a pseudo deity in a way. And you put them on a pedestal and they've given so much and they're matriarchs and they're martyrs. But that didn't allow us to really have an experience, for ourselves. And so when I started having that conversation, everything really grew out of that because there are a lot of us out there.
And it's interesting to me, and I'm going to ask you based on the people that you've talked to, it can have different levels. I mean, some people can't have a relationship with their mother because it's that destructive. Like they've had to fully say, we don't relate, we can't talk,
No contact.
we can't do this at all. And then you have others that have situations where, they're just not similar to their mom. And so much about them is different. And maybe they chose a different path to be different. And so that connection isn't there. So what do you say to a woman who says, all my friends have these wonderful relationships with their mother, they're tremendously close, they go away on the weekend, they may go out at night, and I don't have that. What do you say to a woman who's dealing with that?
The first thing I would say is you don't know what the relationship really is like. Because just like you don't know what anybody's real relationship is like. You don't know what somebody's marriage is like. You don't know what their parent-child relationship is like. So you don't know what the relationship between a mother and the daughter, what it really is. The mother is the first person a child loves. So it is an incredibly intimate relationship. It's the most intimate relationship. It's the most personal relationship. It's the most highly regarded and closely held relationship. So you don't know what's really happening. And a lot of times when you have a challenging relationship with your mother, it's been normalized. So you still think, I love my mom. I talk to her every day. Everything is great. And then you start to hear me and you're like, oh, wow, she does put me down. She doesn't really believe I can do certain things. I don't feel an emotional connection with her. I'm always working hard to get her to open up to me, and she opens up to other people. Why isn't she like that with me? But from the outside, it looks like they have a great relationship. So first of all, you don't even know what that's like. And a relationship between a mother and a daughter is like a relationship between any other two people. And as you heal, you're able to take your mother off of a pedestal. Instead of saying, oh, this is my mother, you can see her, oh, this is just a woman. Just how you're flawed and you have shortcomings, she's flawed and has shortcomings. Just because biologically she came out of you did not give her some insight to be able to comfort you, love you, support you, and give you everything that you needed. And the way Black mothering, and what makes the mother wound and a Black mother wound different, because a mother wound is a psychological term. But a Black mother wound is a wound that is not just rooted in patriarchy, because a mother wound is about the loss of power of a mother, of a woman, due to the patriarchy. So it's a gender-based wound. A Black mother wound is gender and race-based.
Wow.
So when you think about Black mothers from slavery up through Jim Crow, segregation, the way they've had to parent their children, the way they had to parent their daughters, that you have to stay alive. It is a survival parenting. There's no room for emotions or coddling or, fun and fuzziness. It is, girl, how you gonna make it in this world when people out here hate you, when nobody sees your value? And especially if the mother herself is broken, she just is sure that it's gonna be hell to pay for her daughter. So when you understand that, you understand that she's not coming from a place where we can hop on Instagram and get therapy. You can get positive memes, and you can have all of these resources available to you. If you have a mother born in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, none of that was available. All she had was church. And church just taught her that she was even more powerless. Okay. So I would, start to examine it that way, and that you're not alone. Because a lot of the pain comes in, I'm different. Oh, everybody has a great relationship and I don't. So that just makes me feel even more broken. But to realize it's normal for a lot of people. So it allows me to come out of this fantasy that, oh, I want me and my mother to get along. I want her to see her grandchild. All of these things that I think I'm entitled to, because I may not get them. So the priority is my own healing. The priority is that I set healthy boundaries for myself, and I show my child how to set healthy boundaries for himself. And for him, that what is most important is that you let the proper people in your life, whether they're blood related or not, because blood is not always family. So I don't have a fantasy about, oh, he's going to grow up and not get to know his grandmother, because I don't have contact with my mother. So, but there are other people in his life that love him deeply, that pour into him and that nurture him. So this comparison we have to what we think other people are living with has created this ideal that we think we have to have. And if we don't, all is lost. And that's the thing I always say, nothing is lost. Nothing is lost. You just haven't had a shift in your perception so you can access the loving relationships that you really need. They don't have to come from your biological mother. And I also let people know that healing your Black mother wound has nothing to do with your mother. It has nothing to do with getting your mother to understand. It has nothing to do with you having a better relationship with her, getting her to admit where she went wrong and you be validated. And finally, somebody has heard me. She has heard me. That has nothing to do with healing your Black mother wound. Healing your Black mother wound is about gaining autonomy of yourself, because what you don't have when you have a Black mother wound is you don't have autonomy. You don't have emotional autonomy. You don't have mental autonomy. And oftentimes you don't even have physical and financial autonomy. So what you have to do is you have to go inward and do the work to heal that inner girl who's been traumatized at different stages of her life. And then you then start to reparent yourself. And then as you reparent yourself, if you have a child, you then have another example of how to reparent them, because a lot of times the things that happen to us as kids, sometimes there were big traumas, right? But sometimes they're little traumas. But you have small children, a small thing can happen to a 5-year-old and it's huge, right? And if it's never validated, that thing will live with them, and they'll be a 50-year-old woman still afraid, confused, angry, feeling betrayed about something that happened when they were 5 that may not have been the biggest thing. So the healing work is addressing and witnessing the trauma and apologizing for the trauma, because that's really all we want, is like somebody to say, I'm sorry, that never should have happened to you. And I should have done better. I'll do better from here on out. I'm committed to loving you the way that you need to be loved. And if you give me a chance, we can build trust and I will show you that. And that doesn't have to come from your mother. You can learn to give that to yourself. And then from there, you will attract it from other people.
Now, well, just give me 3 things that we can do if we have a Black mother wound, if we have difficult relationships with our parents or a difficult relationship with our mother.
Okay, the first thing is take your gaze off of your mother. That's number one. It has nothing to do with her. The Black mother wound usually is rooted in someone who's very highly self-critical. They're not able to ask for help. Nothing they do they think is good enough. They have problems making decisions, and they have poor interpersonal relationships. So, and they lack vulnerability because there's this toughness that's always there. So the first thing is you need to define what you need in your life that you can't provide for yourself. What do you need help with in your life? Because you're frustrated and you're exhausted right now by the things you learned have you frustrated and exhausted. So what do you need help with? Really, because a lot of people don't even know what they need. And then you need to start learning how to ask for help, because learning to ask for help causes you to be vulnerable. You can then understand who the right people are in your environment, and you can also attract the right people in your environment. So you start there. And then the third thing is you begin to cultivate a relationship with yourself, and you cultivate that relationship with tenderness. Learn to be tender with yourself. We talk about self-love and taking a bath and getting your nails done and stuff, but self-love really is about whenever you're out, you come home and you say, oh, girl, you did a good job today. I'm proud of you. Oh, that's awesome. You know what? You're going to be fine. You don't know the answer, but you can find the answer because you know you're really smart. That's called speaking life into yourself. That is called parenting yourself. And these are things that you can start to do today. And it's hard in the beginning because you don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're smart. You don't think you have what it takes. But when you start to do those things, you start to break open. And just like a wound, if you tend to a wound correctly, it will heal itself. You are the same way. If you give it the right salve, you give it the right emotional ointment, it will heal and it will mend itself.
And what role does the strong Black woman play in your work? I'm quite sure that you hear, from your clients all the time, but I was just told to be strong, and I should be able to work through this thing, or it shouldn't affect me the way that it does. Talk to me a little bit about, what you've heard about the strong Black woman, and does that play into, sort of trying to maintain these relationships that you should let go of or just change?
Absolutely. When I wrote my book, Fuck That Cape, The Grown Woman's Unapologetic Guide to Being Herself, it was really about breaking the curse of the strong Black woman. And that's where I realized that was the archetype of the Black mother and the Black mother wound. Because you don't hear white women saying, I gotta be strong. There's no strong white woman, strong Mexican woman, right, strong Asian woman. It's how in the hell did we get that? And I call it a crown of thorns. And really it's the objectification of Black women. Because what it says is, I'm going to give you a compliment. Oh, you are so strong. You can figure it out. You can take nothing and make something out of it. And then you ask for nothing in return. You're there for everyone else and you don't ask for anything. As if that's a good way to be, but it has been marketed to us. It has been marketed through the church. It has been marketed through media, through TV, through music, that is a virtue of a woman, is how much shit you can put up with and hold your head high with dignity, And so if you're like that, you're a liar. You're lying to yourself and you're living a lie. So then you become a mother and you try to teach a child, and children, they are honest.
Right.
And you want to feed them a lie. And that's what the Black mother does. She thinks she has to feed her daughter that lie for survival. And then the daughter rejects it. And then that's where the conflict ensues, because it's like, that's not true. But that's where they came from. They came from a place where somebody could walk in a store and say, get out. go to the
Right.
back. And they were actually powerless. So you had to have this type of strength. So it is critical to the work, because what we're doing is we're not strong Black women anymore. We are soft Black women. We are tender and we are
I
supple.
like that.
You know, that's what it is.
So Jennifer, tell everybody how they can connect with you and all of the wonderful things that you're doing if someone needs to connect around the Black mother wound.
Well, we have this amazing community over on Instagram. I'm not much of a Facebook person, but I'm definitely on Instagram. And the Instagram handle is Black Mother Wound. You can just type that in, and it's going to come up automatically. And we're always having conversations, and we're always asking questions and having them answered. And it's just a great place to get started for tons of resources, because I'm always posting there. I host a monthly healing class where it's like a group class of Black women. Actually, our class is on this Thursday, so I don't know if people will be, have access to that. And then I do one-on-one coaching where we really curate a personalized healing experience. And so the link for that it's bit.ly, bit.ly/BMW links. And if you go there, you can find everything. Or if you just go to Instagram at Black Mother Wound, you can click the link in my bio and you can find out how to work with me. I have free training. It's just a place, because I didn't have that. I didn't have a coach to help me sort this out. So I just want people to know and have access to something that can help them.
And finally, let's close it out. Can you be a good mom if you don't have the best relationship with your own mom?
Yes, because I can build the best relationship with myself, and I can be the best mother to myself. And actually, yeah, our children, we get a chance to do it over. All the things we wish our mother did for us, we can now give to them. Tenderness we wanted, we can put that tenderness on our children. And a lot of my clients are mothers, and that's their number one priority is, I want to parent differently. And so as they heal, you're actually parenting yourself and your child at the same time. And that's really builds a strong camaraderie in that parenting role, because they feel seen and they know that you've made mistakes and you're coming around, and they see you changing. And when they see you changing, it's like, oh, wow, she can be different, which is also a great example you set for them, that they can change, they can grow, and they can evolve.
Well, Jennifer, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate all of the great advice. And I know a lot of people are going to grow from it, because as much as you want to celebrate mothers on Mother's Day, we also have to celebrate ourselves if those relationships aren't what we really want them to be.
Absolutely. But thank you for having me.
Much love, guys. Thanks for checking out the latest episode of Getting Social. Make sure you click the subscribe button, because I don't want you to miss any of these episodes. My adult bedtime stories, love advice, radio clips, TV clips, and more. It's all at LaDawn Black TV right here on YouTube. You need to subscribe and click that little bell so you'll know whenever I drop something new. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tease by LaDawn. And if you want information on my books, love advice, where you can catch me during the week, all you have to do is go on over to LaDawn, LaDawn, black.com. It's all there at the site. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video. And I'll be back soon getting social with you.